I'm going to talk about how our business model can really contribute to your financial health. I'm all about health. Uh, and most of my life, I've been talking and teaching on physical health, but I also love to talk about financial health. If you don't know who I am, that's me. I was a little younger then. I didn't have facial hair, but I've been an ER doc forever. I've been an entrepreneur forever. My first foray into trying to leverage my time was to put together a group of 3 urgent care minor emergency centers back when everybody said that was a business concept that wasn't going to work, that people weren't going to go to a minor ER, they were going to go to the hospital. And we were very successful with that. But what I found out was it wasn't a great way to leverage my time because I ended up putting in a lot of hours I didn't even get paid for at those clinics. But I've always wanted to be a business owner, entrepreneur. And now I am with ASEA. I'm an ASEA Triple Diamond. I'm on the medical advisory board. Nancy and I are members of the $1 Million Earners Club. And it's just not only been very successful, but a lot of fun and a lot of learning. But, before I was introduced to ASEA, my story is a little bit different. My story isn't that I didn't have enough money. My story was I was making good money. My story was I didn't have a life because I was at the hospital all the time. I was trading my life, my hours for that money in a way that really didn't give me a very good lifestyle. I was providing everybody else around me with a good lifestyle, but I wasn't really able to enjoy that as much as I wanted to because I was gone from home. I was tied up, and I didn't know how to escape from that. I didn't realize that the instructions for how to get out of that box were written on the outside, and somebody else had to introduce me to that. And I'm forever grateful to Jerry White, who introduced me to ASEA and this whole concept of network marketing. So financial health is, as far as I'm concerned, for some people, maybe it's not as important, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just as important as physical health because it impacts your physical health, especially through financial stress. Relationships, emotional stress, family stress, they are all impacted by your level of income and whether you have any left over after you pay all of your necessities, or if you even have enough to pay those. And we're certainly, Tammy pointed out so well that so many of us are now stuck where we're having even people who have never had trouble paying their bills are now having trouble because of the pandemic and loss of jobs. So the solution is really to have the overall solution, I think, is to have enough wealth coming in that you can just get beyond the money. And money is just not a concern. When you're writing out your monthly bills, you're not thinking, geez, is there enough in that account to cover that? You switch from that to, gee, is there enough to take that next vacation that I want to take and that I can write off anyway, as you've just heard from Tom. And so you got to ask yourself, what do you want more of and what do you want less of? Hopefully you want more freedom, more time, more resources to do what you want to do and less stress in your life so that your health can improve as well. And no matter what your answer is to that question, I can tell you that having more wealth, more financial stability and abundance is going to have a positive impact on getting rid of the things you don't want in life and getting more of what you do want. I mean, if you're stuck in a relationship that's not working for you and you're stuck there because you don't have the finances to move beyond it, this can even help you there. I mean, I think I'm right. Better relationships, more time with family, better health, more time to do what you enjoy doing instead of what you have to do. Maybe it's more material things. If you're younger, it may be a new car. It may be different than it is for me as I'm kind of approaching the last third of my life. It may be a nicer home or your first home, but certainly less stress, less uncertainty, less debt, fewer money problems. Why is more money? Why do you want more money? How much do you want? Is it to pay for necessities, buy stuff that you need or want, or save for the future, save for your college fund, decrease stress, save relationships, put money to work to create wealth or freedom and to become a better you, and also to give to others, to have the financial wherewithal that you can turn around and give money through organizations or just write a check to somebody who's suffering. For me, lifestyle was key. I was living a life in what hours were left around my work schedule. But now with ASEA, I live the life I really wanted to live, and my business gets done around that core lifestyle that I've always wanted. So instead of having a job or a business that dictates the type of life you can live the kind of life that you want to, and you can work this business around it and earn every bit of what you need to do in this business, mostly starting part-time to supplement. You know, I didn't walk away from the hospital immediately, but I can tell you that within 6 months, I wasn't spending nearly the amount of time at the hospital that I had been, and my income did not go down. So how much do you want? How much do you need to live the kind of life that you want to live? And how much do you want to give to others who are less fortunate? You know, what do we learn in school? We don't learn finances in school. In fact, schools are set up to create workers for jobs. You know, get an education, get a good job. In this day and age, if you can get any job, you may be pretty fortunate. But before this pandemic hit, most families couldn't get by on one job. Both parents had to work. So jobs are not the answer, or at least not the best answer. And then pay your taxes on time, and then hope that you have enough to live on and maybe retire later on. That's what we're taught in school. We're not taught to be entrepreneurs. We're not taught to think outside of the box. So I'm going to give you the secret to financial health. There's only 3 things that you have to know. Yeah, only 3. And if you know those 3 things and you put them to use, you will never have to worry about money again. Never. Really. Yes, really. You'll never have to worry about money again. Are you ready? Because they're very concrete things that you can work on to improve and bulletproof your financial health so that you don't maybe get stuck in the situation you're in now if you lost your job or your hours were cut due to this pandemic. Here's the 3 secrets. You got to learn how to attract money into your life. Then you got to realize that while you're attracting money, you've got to keep some of it for yourself. You can't spend all of it on fancy cars and other than necessities in life. If you want financial security long-term, you've got to put some of that aside, because the 3rd thing that you've got to do is to put money to work and then give some away. Because when you give it away, it tells the universe that you're a good guy, and it helps you to attract more money. So it comes full circle. When you attract it, you keep some of it, you grow it, you give some away. That gives you more attraction. Keep more, grow it, give some away. That's the way it works. That's the way the world works. That's the way the world of money works. And you can argue with it, but this is the way it works. And so if you understand that and incorporate that into your daily living, you will start to move towards a life of abundance. Now, for most people, attracting wealth is the most challenging step. Or you probably wouldn't be listening to this. Yeah, I want to make money, Dr. Walker. That's why I'm here. But is it really the most challenging? It may be like oxygen to physical health. You got to have it. But I would say that for a lot of people, saving enough and then putting money to work may be more challenging even than attracting money to begin with. And if you look back at your life, if you had done that when you were employed or whatever, would you be in a better situation right now? So let's talk about attracting it, because I know that's where most of your heads are at. You know, start to understand that time and money are equal to each other. Time equals money. Money equals time. And spend some time thinking about that, because we spend time creating wealth or income, but you've got to do it in a certain way if you want to develop financial freedom and financial health, because wealth can create time in your life. It did for me. As I started to make money in network marketing, I had more time to do what I wanted to do and less time that I had to be at the hospital working, doing things that I enjoyed, but it took away from a lot of other things I wanted to do. I will say categorically that a job is not the best way for you to attract income. Why is that? Well, we get back to time again, because there's time limits. You know, how many hours a day can you work? There were times in my life when I worked 12 and 24-hour shifts. Unhealthy? Absolutely. Was I making good money? Absolutely. Was it smart? No, not really. But at that time in my life, I needed to do that. But understanding how to attract money into your life on your terms so that you can live the life that you want to live is extremely important. And as it turns out, our business model is ideally set up to do that. You know, when I read a couple of Robert Kiyosaki's books, it really changed my understanding of money. It's this kind of stuff they ought to teach in high school. And if you haven't read any of his books, you know, I would recommend that you start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he talks in there about the cash flow quadrant. He talks about there's only two ways you can attract money into your life. There's only two ways that money gets made. It's either money at work or people at work. Obviously, people at work is more stressful, more time consuming, harder on your body in many cases. But what's interesting is he said, you know, if you look at, if you set this up as a quadrant, if you put a vertical line down the center of a paper and then a horizontal line across the other axis of the paper, and on the left-hand side, up in that upper left-hand corner, you put jobs, and in that lower left-hand corner, you put, you know, professions and small businesses. 90% of people are working in those areas. They're either working a job or they're trying to get a small business going. And they are going after only 10% of the available dollars in the economy. Only 10%. 90% of people are chasing 10% of the available wealth in the world. The people who are really attracting big wealth into their life are on the other side of that vertical line. And they either have a business up in that top right quadrant, and I would say a business with a capital B, and I'll explain that here in a minute, because you can have a small b business, a mom and pop business, and that really just amounts to you owning your job. But only 10% of people are working in big businesses and putting money to work. And that's where 90% of the world's wealth is. So if you want to start tapping into the 90%, instead of chasing after and spending your life going after the measly 10%, then you've got to understand how to attract money differently. And it's those things that we're talking about. So let's talk about people at work a little bit more. You alone, how many hours can you trade your time for? Like I said, I've worked 12 and 24-hour shifts. They're no fun. Brings in a big check, but it is not good for your health, and it's not good for your long-term finances. So, you know, time is a limitation there if you're working a job. There's only so many hours that you should or can work. So there's a ceiling. What's the answer to that? It's to develop networks of people that you work with, where each person benefits to a small extent from the efforts of everybody else. Let's say you we'll look at the 4x4x4 model. 4 people who sponsor 4 people who sponsor 4 people. You end up with 56 people. What if 1 hour of effort from each of those 56 benefited everybody else? Can you see how your efforts are magnified through that network? That's why networks work so well. That's why they can be so profitable. J. Paul Getty is an old millionaire. He's an oil money millionaire. And he's famous for saying, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own, because it'll amount to more money, and it's also a lot easier. And Robert Kiyosaki, the gentleman I already talked about, says wealthy people build networks right while everyone else looks for work, and most likely is working in someone else's network for someone else's dreams and goals, not their own. So what do you want to do? Be part of somebody else's network, or do you want to build your own network? Now let's switch over and talk about money at work, because that's really where the big rewards are. The greatest rewards are when you start to understand and start to put money to work. And, you know, oh no, this is another one of those darn chicken and egg dilemmas, right? Which comes first, the money or the benefits? So like, where do I get the money? Well, let's look at how ASEA can help you with that. Making money so you can save some money so you can put it to work. Remember, we talked about the 3 ways, or the ways you can make money: people at work or money at work. And if you want to create true generational wealth, you have got to figure out how to put money at work. So if I could show you and teach you a way that in 2021, you could learn more than you ever imagined working safely from home, would you be interested? And that would include a financial education. That would include preparing your mindset to become an entrepreneur and to attract money in a different way. So you can stop worrying about paying the bills. So you can get beyond the stress of worrying about paying the bills, or can I afford this, or what are we going to do at Christmas time? Life's too short to spend on doing that. And it's too stressful. It'll harm your physical health. Stop worrying and start planning in a secure financial legacy situation. Why did I choose the ASEA business model? Well, I agree with Eric Worre. Network marketing may not be perfect. It's just better than anything else as a way to attract money and wealth into your life without it taking every waking hour of your time. Now, I'm going to go into a slightly more detail on the ASEA income disclosure statement. I'm not sure if I got the 2019 one up here, if it was an earlier one, but they get better each year as they come out. And what's interesting is the money that's going to the director levels are gradually improving. And I think they're improving more so than the money that's going into the top level. So this fallacy that only the top levels make money in network marketing is absolutely not true. ASEA's compensation plan is set up to put a significant amount of the financial reward into the beginning levels of a person's business. So here's an example, or these are actually factual figures. These are what people are making at these levels when they're qualifying weekly at these levels. Not that you just reached a level once in your career, but you're qualifying regularly at these levels. And they went further than that. They investigated what was the average amount of time it took people from the time they enrolled till the time they reached these ranks. And you can see in weeks, the director, which already pays, an average of $300 extra a month, only takes about 5 weeks. That's not very long, is it? There's not too many jobs where you can work as little as you have to work in ASEA, and in that time period, pick up a regular extra $300 a month. So let's take a further look at this, and let's simplify it and say, look, let's say you're sitting down with a new associate and you're having this conversation, how much more would you need or do you want to improve your life in the way that you want to improve it? And how long would you like it to take? Let's take a look at some of these figures. Well, if $500 would change somebody's life, and I agree with Tammy, I'm familiar with that fact as well, that, an extra $500 or $600 would save a lot of marriages. Why? Because it will decrease financial stress, because they'll be able to afford their car payment or their mortgage more easily. And an extra $1,000 a month goes even further. And it only takes a matter of weeks or a few months to reach that in our business. And, an extra couple $1,000s a month, 4 months silver, an extra $3,600 a month, 5.5 months, less than a half a year. These are real figures. These aren't projections like maybe you could do this. This is what you can if you get in and do the work and reach those levels. Let's look at another way you can make money. You can make money in a savings account, right? Now, the biggest dilemma in a savings account is getting the money first. But let's say your goal was to have a savings account that spun you off $4,000 a month, which would be about like a silver level associate. Well, if you could get 1% interest, and that's a challenge right now, you'd be lucky to get maybe 0.5 or 0.75% because interest rates are really low right now. But look at what you'd have to accumulate before you could put that in a savings account and earn $4,000 a month. $4.8 million. That's $1 million. And I would guess that there's not a single person watching this, including me, that could put together $4.8 million and sock it away in a savings account, even in a lifetime. So that's a big challenge, isn't it? It's just undoable. So what makes more sense? Save $4,800,000 and invest at 1% interest to make $4,000 a month, or find and teach a few people about a healthy product, about how they can grow their income in a leverage situation, work together, teach others to do the same, put together a network that brings in $4,000 a month and do it in about 6 months, which makes more sense. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? And how many people does it take? Well, the other thing that ASEA asked or looked at a couple of years ago, they presented it, I think it was at Diamond Summit, might have been at a convention. They said, look, the average diamond makes about $16,000 a month. Took them on average about 22 months, so less than 2 years. And they didn't have to recruit the whole world. I think it was somewhere between 40 or 50 people was what the average diamond recruited to get to diamond. That's not a huge amount of people over a couple of years. The key to rapid success was to start immediately and go out and sponsor your first 4 to 6 people as soon as you could. And the other secret to success in the ASEA, and we've got a special thing going on right now called the 2x2, where they're emphasizing the importance of getting your director bonus, which is sponsoring somebody on the left and somebody on the right within 2 weeks. Because guess what? It's not the $50, which is now $100 that you get for that. It's the fact that people who do that are 15 times more likely to reach the diamond level in their career and earn on average $16,000 a month. So if you want to load the gun, stack the deck in your favor, you want to get in, sign up, and get the director bonus as quickly as you can, because it puts you in a rarefied group that is 15 times more likely to reach diamond. Now, if you don't want to reach diamond, I guess, it's 15 times more likely to reach every other level as well on that way to achieving that. So what does it take? It takes 3 things. And this is from Eric Worre as well. He says in his whole time in the industry, what he's noticed is it takes 3 things to be successful in this industry. You have to be willing to change and do what it takes. You have to be coachable and work, and maybe work with a mentor. And you have to be hungry for change. You have to want this, and you have to know why you want it. So why does ASEA work so well to provide this in unbelievable level of financial success? Well, it's a couple of things. Number one, we have a great product, a technology nobody else has. We have a great company that we work with that honors us as their associates, as those out there in the community marketing this product. We have an unbelievably great business model. We have a duplicatable process, and we have timing in the marketplace that is absolutely incredible and even better under the current threat that we're facing. And I don't have time to get into that. But why choose our business model? Again, Eric Worre says network marketing may not be perfect. It's just better than anything else. And I would say that ASEA may not be perfect. It's close. It's just much better than anything else out there. So hopefully I've been able to share some concepts, some understanding about money and wealth and how to attract it that really gets you thinking a little bit differently, because it's how you think about money. It's how you think about attracting wealth. It's how you think about the world that's going to be, to a significant degree, a determinant of how successful you're going to be. It's not just about hard work. It's about the right kind of work. It's about doing the right kinds of things. Remember, belong and become, to overcome. That's deeply ingrained in our business model and in our ethos. And it is absolutely the secret to your success.